Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. As the country records yet another murder, Prime Minister Davis says courts need to step up. Prime Minister says speedier trials require judges taking control of their courts. No decision yet on the NIB rate increase, although one minister is saying we need to face the reality on NIB. And the NIB report recommending a new retirement age is all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Still ahead, straight ahead this morning, we'll get the preview of the Junkanoo Summer Festival. It's back and in person. What do you need to know about what's going to be happening in July? And later, more on tourism, cultural tourism, what we're learning, and more. That's coming up in Morning Blend Business. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, police investigating the country's latest murder. A man found unresponsive at the intersection of Beatrice Avenue and Charles Saunders Highway overnight. We'll let you know the latest details in our 8 o'clock newscast. Prime Minister Philip Davis calling on the courts to step up regarding hearing murder cases, pleading with Bahamians to stop making excuses to get out of jury duty. The Prime Minister was asked about the recent spate of murders involving people on bail and what his administration intends to do to address the matter. National Security Minister Wayne Munro saying yesterday that of the 65 murders for the year, 30 of the victims were on bail. During a press conference at Lynden Pinling International Airport yesterday, as he returned home from the Chogam In Rwanda, Prime Minister Davis says, quote, I am not one to take any glee in the fact that the person who may have been killed was known to police or is on bail. All lives are important to me. It is a multifaceted situation. The courts have to pay more attention to persons who are going to be out on bail. The courts have to take control of their trials so that people can have trials. I mean, the backlog of cases is just astronomical, and it's almost nearing the brink of collapse. The Prime Minister said cooperation from all facets of society is necessary to ensure that cases finish quickly. He says he finds it astounding that back when he was practicing law, there used to be 3 murder cases. Used to handle 3 murder cases per day. He says if a murder trial takes a week, that's a long time. Trials for murders are now taking a month or 2 months. He said, quote, I still can't understand why trials take so long. Davis says the government is looking to put more resources in preventative measures, stop the level of recidivism that's occurring, and, quote, redeem our young men and women. Admitting that he had not yet read the latest NIB actuarial review, which is dated January 2022. Prime Minister Philip Davis saying yesterday that the government has made no determination on whether to follow the recommendation for a rate increase to save the fund from depleting in 6 years. He says they have to assess all the other fiscal issues and look at how the economy is growing before they can make a decision on that matter. That latest report is recommending that the retirement age be increased from 65 to 67. The report noted that a new retirement age could reduce NIB's short-term financial pressure. It noted such an increase should be normally planned over a long period, not to affect the current population, which is close to retirement and acquired rights. An increased retirement age is one of 3 options proposed to reduce NIB's financial pressure. Other options proposed in the report include the modification of the pension accrual rate and external funding for the assistance benefits. And opposition leader Michael Pintard writing a letter to Prime Minister and Finance Minister Davis saying the opposition is dismayed that the Ministry of Finance issued a memorandum that would seek to implement a change to the tariff for pleasure vessels outside of the legal requirement that any such adjustments be approved by Parliament. He said that he was also dismayed that the Financial Secretary is indicating that he is operating under a direction, Pintard saying, quote, a direction which could only come from the ministerial level. Pintard making reference to a June 23rd memorandum from Financial Secretary Simon Wilson to the Customs Comptroller, saying that he's directed to advise that as a result of the change in the rate of duty on pleasure vessels inadvertently being omitted from the budget measure sheet, the Customs Department is now instructed to treat pleasure craft as duty-free until the subsequent amendment to the Tariff Act is done during the next budget exercise. And a 57-year-old American man exposed himself to a housekeeper while staying at the Cove at Atlantis. Charles Kramer Jr. pleaded guilty to indecent exposure at his arraignment before Magistrate Kara Turnquest DeVoe yesterday. The court heard that the housekeeper knocked on Kramer's door and entered the room after she didn't get an answer. However, she left after meeting Kramer inside, but he followed her into the hallway and opened his robe and exposed himself to her while shouting insults. Kramer was fined $150 or 3 months in prison. And 2 men accused of indecently assaulting minors charged in court this week. Prosecutors allege that a 53-year-old man of southwestern New Providence indecently assaulted his 8-year-old daughter at their home. The man, whose name has been withheld to protect the minor's identity, was not required to enter a plea to the charge when he appeared before Magistrate Kara Turnquest DeVoe. She remanded him to the Sandlands Rehabilitation Center for an evaluation at the request of his lawyer. According to his lawyer, the man exhibited bizarre behavior while detained at a police station while taking off his clothing and punching a hole in the wall. The man returns to court on July 15th for an update. Meanwhile, a 20-year-old man appeared in the same court accused of the assault of a 13-year-old boy. Prosecutors allege that Keithron Wells put his hand in the child's pants and touched its genitals and butt Wells was not required to enter a plea to the charge, but was remanded to the Department of Correctional Services. That matter adjourned to September 29th for the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. Overseas, rescuers searching through the charred rubble of a shopping mall today looking for more victims of a Russian missile strike that killed at least 18 and wounded scores in what Ukraine's president called one of the most daring terrorist attacks in European history. President Volodymyr Zelensky saying more than 1,000 afternoon shoppers and workers inside the mall. They were there when this happened. Giant plumes of black smoke, dust, and orange flames billowed from the wreckage as emergency crews combed through broken metal and concrete for victims. Drones whirred above, clouds of dark smoke still emanating from the ruins several hours after the fire was extinguished. Casualty figures rose as rescuers sifted through the smoldering rubble. The regional governor saying at least 18 people were killed and 59 sought medical assistance, of whom 25 were hospitalized. The region declared a day of mourning today for the victims of the attack. In sports, facing relegation to the America's Zone Cup Group 4, the Bahamas Davis Cup team responding, defeating Guatemala 2-0 to avoid relegation in Group 3 action in the Costa Rica Country Club at Costa Rica on Saturday. Baker Newman went up against Sebastian Dominguez and took him down in 2 sets in the number 2 singles slot. He dominated the first set and won in straight sets, 6-2 and 7-5. Dominguez played better in the second set as it almost went to a tiebreak. The Bahamian won 9 first serve points and 5 second serve points in the first set. Came away with 4 break points in the first set alone. You can read more about how the team did in today's Guardian Sports section. The Bahamas' 2 most distinguished decathletes will be taking part in international competitions this summer after all. Despite not finishing the decathlon competition for the 2022 B3A's National Youth, Junior, and Senior Track and Field Championships over the weekend, thereby not achieving qualifying standard for the World Athletics Outdoor Championships later this summer, both Ken Mullings and Kendrick Thompson are heading to international competitions. Mullings will compete in the World Championships as a result of winning the overall title in the men's decathlon for the NACAC Combined Events Area Championships back in May. The 6 area champions of World Athletics, as well as current Diamond League winners and defending world champions, are granted automatic bids to the World Championships. Kendrick Thompson will be heading to the Commonwealth Games. And the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium, the place to be for local track and field enthusiasts over the weekend with the B3A's championships, and a commitment now coming from Oak Tree Medical, stepping up as a major sponsor of athletics. You can read more about that in today's Guardian Sports section as well. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got a deep layered disturbance that continues to spark bouts of unsettled weather across the northern Bahamas while moving northwestwards today. Meanwhile, high-pressure ridging along with a plume of Saharan dust will invade the southern islands as well. Boaters and residents should be alert for possible waterspout or tornado activity, and beachgoers in the central and southeast Bahamas should exercise caution along east and south coast beaches due to the risk of rip currents. There's also a risk of localized flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas during heavy or prolonged rainfall. For the northwest Bahamas today, look for cloudy to occasionally overcast, warm and breezy conditions with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Showers may be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. For the central and southeast Bahamas, variably cloudy, warm and breezy with widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, with some clearing expected by this afternoon, along with slightly hazy conditions. Small craft cautions in effect for boaters. Winds east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet. Temperature-wise, right now, it's about 76 degrees under mostly cloudy skies in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 85 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. But overnight lows tonight getting down to about 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. You'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
$35,000?
What would you do with your share of $35,000?
Just spend $250 or more on any Scotiabank credit card
Between March 15th and June 30th.
for a chance to win your share of $35,000. The more you spend, the more chances you get to win.
There will be 3 winners of $10,000 each and 5 winners of $1,000. It's so easy to enter. Don't miss your opportunity to win.
So what would you do?
Visit bs.scotiabank.com to learn more about how you can win.
Fly away to your favorite island to experience the magic of the 2022 Goombay Summer Festival, starting July 1st through August 27th across the islands of the Bahamas. It's set to be the biggest one yet, with mouth-watering culinary delights, Goombay music, rake and scrape bands, bohemian performances, and much more. It's Goombay Summer Festival 2022, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism, Investments, and Aviation.
Imagine driving your dream car, doing all the things you never thought you could, like perfecting your parallel parking skills, or picking up your date. Everyone loves to dream. Stop dreaming. Start driving with a brand new offer from Scotiabank. With an auto loan from Scotiabank, benefit from no payments for up to 2 months, a low interest rate up to 9 years to repay, and free insurance for the first year up to 2.5% of the loan amount. Promotion ends June 30th, 2022. Stop dreaming and start driving today with an auto loan from Scotiabank.
Nassau Tile is having its annual inventory sale. That's right. From June 23rd to 29th, you can save up to 25% off selected 12 by 24-inch porcelain tiles and take 20% off store-wide on all tile, thinset, grout, and mosaics. Our tile experts are ready to guide you in selecting the right tiles for your kitchen backsplash, living room, room, bathroom, and patio. So don't miss out. Call 322-2100 or visit our showroom at 43 Dowsville Street and save big with Nassau Tile, where the world is at your feet.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Straw with you on this Tuesday morning. Coming up this morning, we've got more weather and traffic to talk about. A lot happening weather-wise and near us and also in the tropics, the rest of the tropics, and we're keeping an eye on all that for you. In our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to talk about the Junkanoo Summer Festival. It's back and it's in person, finally, again. And we are very excited about it. We're going to tell you all about that with our friends from the Ministry of Tourism coming up in just a bit. And then in our 9 o'clock hour, more on tourism, cultural tourism, exporting our culture and learning from others' cultures. We're going to talk with a group just back from Africa. You might have seen and heard about it, and they want to get you to go as well. We're going to talk with them again this morning. So a lot to get to on this Tuesday morning. Let's begin, though, with what else is in the news. And in the news, a number of homicides over the past few days. We'll hear more about that in our 8 o'clock newscast. Police investigating the latest one overnight. A man found near Beatrice Avenue and Charles Saunders Highway, the intersection there. Hopefully, again, we'll get the details coming up in just a few minutes. But Prime Minister just back from Rwanda at the CHOGM meeting. And asked about the crime, the murder rate, and the number of people out on bail for murder who have been murdered, and or out on bail in general have been murdered. Our Travis Carroll writing about this today in the Nassau Guardian. The headline: Courts need to step up. PM says speedier trials require judges taking control of their courts. The Prime Minister called on the courts to step up regarding herring murder cases and pleaded with Bahamians to stop making excuses to get out of jury duty. Davis was asked about the recent spate of murders involving people on bail and what his administration intends to do to address the matter. Now, National Security Minister Wayne Monroe said yesterday that of the 65 murders for the year, 30 of the victims were on bail. 30 of the 65 murder victims out on bail. During a press conference at Lyndon Pinley International yesterday afternoon, the Prime Minister said, quote, "I am not one to take any glee in the fact that the person who may have been killed was known to police or is on bail. All lives are important to me. It is a multifaceted situation. The courts have to pay more attention to persons who are going to be out on bail. The courts have to take control, I think, of their trials so that people could have trials. I mean, the backlog of cases is just astronomical, and it's almost nearing the brink of collapse. So the courts have to step up, and they need to hear these cases. The community, Bahamians, have to appreciate as well that in the administration of justice, they have a very critical role to play, and that is when called upon to be jurors. They have to step up to be jurors and not give excuses. If you don't have jurors to hear the cases are not going to be tried. We'll get back to that in a second. All right. So the Prime Minister said that cooperation from all facets of society is necessary to ensure that cases finish quickly. He said, quote, "What is astounding to me, in my heyday of practicing law, I used to do murder cases in 3 days. If a murder trial takes a week, that's a long time. Trials for murders are now taking a month or 2 months. I still can't understand why trials take so long. That requires judges taking control of their court and controlling their court. At the end of the day, they need to get the cases done, finished, and if there is anyone that is aggrieved by any decision, there's another level to go to. The other level is a bit more efficient than the lower level. It's a very vexing issue. I know that tomorrow I'm going to Cabinet to raise an issue in respect to our national security vision and decide how we deal with this." And that was yesterday, so he's talking about today. Prime Minister said the government is looking to put more resources in preventative measures, stop the level of recidivism that's occurring, and to, quote, "redeem our young men and women." The Prime Minister spoke with reporters on several national issues upon landing, and we'll get to that as well, on what he had to say about the frequent travel that's been criticized in some circles, and what they are accomplishing with that. We'll get to that in a bit, but I want to get your reaction to what the Prime Minister is saying. So he's calling on everybody there, not just the courts. The court system, the whole judicial system, and that includes the Bahamian people. He says people are ducking and dodging jury duty. But a lot of people who serve on juries will tell you also that when they do go, they're immediately sent back home because the lawyer didn't show up or the case filed, something happened there. So there's a lot on every level. So lawyers, too, need to be called out. But, yeah, we do know we have a lot of people dodging jury duty. Hopefully what they did by not printing, or what they're going to do, not printing people's addresses and everything, hopefully that will encourage more people to serve. But let's get your reaction to it, as we had another murder overnight, and apparently there was another one a couple of days ago, and you can't keep up anymore, unfortunately. What do you make of what the Prime Minister is saying? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. He says that they used to do trials in 3 days. Is that a good thing? Some people, right? Were they really going through this stuff, or are you more comfortable with it taking longer? Or is he right? It's taking too long. People don't even remember what they saw if they're witnesses, right? What do you make of it? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. All right. All right, we've got some calls coming in, but they're not coming in. What's happening there? All right. So that's happening. He also was asked about NIB, and the Prime Minister saying that he'd not read the latest actuarial report, which we talked about yesterday. And that report was dated January 2022. But Prime Minister Davis says that the government has made no determination on whether to follow the recommendation for a rate increase to save the fund from depleting in 6 years. He said, quote, "The recommendation has been made. It doesn't come off the table until we decide whether or not to accept the recommendation. We have not yet done that, as I indicated. We have to assess all of our other fiscal issues, i.e. how the economy is going to be growing, where we are going to be obtaining new revenues, how effective are our collection efforts to determine how we address that. And if we can find ways and means to alleviate the burden, other options, the burden on the poor, Bahamians or Bahamian workers, we will do so. That report, completed by the International Labor Organization, has not yet been formally released by the government, but was reported on extensively by the Nassau Guardian yesterday. It recommended that the contribution rate be increased immediately. It said that under the current parameters, the reserve for the pensions branch will be exhausted in 2028, 1 year earlier than in the previous actuarial review. And it said immediate actions are needed to restore not only the long-term financial sustainability of the scheme, but most importantly, the short-term. The report noted that a significant increase in the contribution rate from 9.8% to 16.9% will be required to pay the full benefits in 2029. The report added that the required contribution rate to pay all expenditures of all branches during the next 60 years is 22.55%. Despite the grim outlook and despite stating he had not read the report, the Prime Minister said yesterday that it is nothing new. Yes, indeed, we've been hearing this for a while. But he said he expected the government, expected the same report. They are the technocrats who are advising us. We are the political directorate. We have to find ways and means of softening any increases that are put on the backs of the Bahamian people. I have not seen the latest report, nor am I surprised by it. But upon reviewing it and having regard to all other initiatives that we have in growing the economy and seeking other means of revenues for the country, we'll take that into account to determine how best to deal with the national insurance issues. Now, Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister responsible for national insurance, he says that while officials at NIB will try to find creative ways to increase revenue, he says that unless the matter of increasing the NIB contribution rate is addressed, the fund will be depleted. He says that's just a reality. And he said, quote, the Prime Minister said, and he is the leader of government, that an increase is not imminent right now. Those are his exact words. We are still in a dire situation as it relates to the National Insurance Board. We are paying out much more than we are taking in. The last actuarial report is stating that unless something changes immediately, that we're going to be looking at the fund being dissolved within the next 6 years. So at National Insurance, the Managing Director, Sonia Gill, along with her executive team, the Chairman and the Board, along with myself, we're trying to find ways of which we can increase revenue. We need to be creative, but we need to face the reality that unless this matter is addressed, and relatively soon, that we are looking at depletion. The fund will only be supplemented by the taxpayer, the Bahamas government. We're going to try and find innovative ways, but that reality, that the fund is just blowing through cash, is a reality that we must pay attention to also. Okay, very, very doom and gloom, but he is right there. Okay, so let's get your reaction on this as well. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. What do you think all of this is about? Are you hearing Loroto saying one thing? The Prime Minister saying they can't do this right now. They can't put this on the backs of people. Are you expecting next year will be the BAM and you'll get it then? Or what are you thinking is going to happen here? Cannot continue to push the can down the road. There's not many options. I don't know how creative they can get other than raising the rates. But maybe they know something. I don't know. What do you think? What can happen? 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259. We'll get to what the Prime Minister said about the rest of his trip in just a bit. By the way, that report, we've got more reporting on it today. That report is recommending the retirement age move up a bit to 67. 67. Pam talked about this yesterday, and we said how some of the young people in the country might not like this so much. They're already annoyed with having to work with people approaching 65, it seems. But, oh well. So that report is recommending that this might be something that could be done in the short term to ease the financial pressure on the fund. It noted that such an increase should be normally planned over a long period, not to affect the current population, which is close to retirement and acquired rights. An increased retirement age is one of 3 options that they presented. Other options proposed include modification to the pension accrual rate and external funding for the assistance benefits. The report said that these options could be implemented separately or combined to enable the scheme to remain sustainable over the projection period without having to increase the contribution rate to the level mentioned above. So those are the options. The contribution rate required to finance the pension benefits branch of NIB over the projection period could be reduced by 2.3% from 19.3%. In such a case, an increase of the contribution rate by 2% every 2 years, starting July 1st, 2022, could be sufficient to make the scheme sustainable over the projection period, as long as the increases are maintained at least until July 1st, 2032, 4 years earlier than estimated based on the current design. The report also noted that an increase of the contribution rate by 2% over the existing 9.8% every 2 years, starting on July 1st, 2022, and ending July 1st, 2036, could restore the short and medium-term financial sustainability of NIB. Wow. So we're not going to meet that target, but maybe 2023. What do you make of that? Retirement age moving up to 67, folks. Let's get your view on that. Give us a call, tweet us, text us, Facebook us. Let's go to the text line. This is... okay, this text says, why not just move towards eliminating jury trials for murder? That has been proposed before. It certainly has, and still doesn't solve the issue of the judges and the prosecutors claiming they're not ready or something's missing and all that stuff. But it might make a judge angrier, and that could put some fire under the lawyers. But yeah, that is something to consider. Although you're entitled to a trial by a jury of your peers, right? I think that's even in the Constitution there, so that might be a challenge. We know how we'll have to address that. Y'all don't like that word, that R word, but yeah, it could do something. This person says the Prime Minister's right. The trials take too long because lawyers for the defense drag the case on to be paid a hefty Crown brief. The judge needs to take charge. I know because I witnessed a trial for over 20 years. What now? 20 years. What? Anyway, these judges somehow don't know what to do. We need to attack seasoned lawyers and stop being political in our choices. 20 years. Did the people even remember what the case was about? This person says here the Prime Minister is being a bit disingenuous. He and the Minister of National Security used to be defense lawyers, dragging cases for a long time until their clients got acquitted. Well, he says he didn't do that. He says he did these trials in a few days. But anyway, now the shoes are on the other foot. Or enforce the laws. Okay. Someone says here, correct me if I'm wrong, is the Prime Minister blaming the courts and the citizens for his administration's ineffective policies and handling of crime in particular? Yeah, I think you're wrong. That's what you heard? And they go on to say, my Lord, what a time in the Bahamas. He's saying that the court situation is not helping what's happening. And people out on bail for such a long time are, I guess, in danger. But I don't think he's saying that's the reason why. No. Okay. This person says, did Lorota talk about going after people who haven't paid NIB in years? Tell the government to collect NIB from those companies that have not paid in years. Do that first, please. Well, they say they are always doing that. They always do that. They always try to go after those people. That never stops. Never stops. This person says their cases take long because the lawyers just like to make money. That's plain and simple. Well, all right. So, Oh, my goodness. All right, what is this now? So it's going to be a very interesting 8 o'clock news. We're getting lots of reports about stuff that's happened over the past few days, so stay tuned for that. This message here says, people can work to the age of 67, but is that best for the company that they work for and the people that they service? From my work experience of 20-plus years watching people in their 60s work, the efficiency in which they work has slowed tremendously. We cannot solve one problem by creating another. Excuse me. What NIB needs to do is increase the cap and have a sliding scale for anyone making over $125,000 per year. Interesting perspectives there. What do you make of that? This text here: how many of the 65 murder victims were known to police? Well, I think at least 30. If they're out on bail, they always say that. But maybe more. Why do you ask? Does it change anything? We've got a lot of people involved in some unusual activities, or suspected to be involved in. It's still the murder rate. People will see a list of countries with high murder rates and see the Bahamas. They won't know that, that's only the criminals. They will say, people getting killed there a lot. Right? Somebody says here, what? 67? That's why I'm applying for mine early in a few years. Applying for what? Retirement? Your NIB? You're going to... I don't think that's okay. Good morning. It's obvious that the Prime Minister is out of touch with modern times. When he practiced law over 40 years ago, there were fewer persons and cases before the courts. Another text here. David said all the answers while in opposition. Now he wants to blame the courts. That's what you heard there? I don't think that's what he's doing. I mean, he's and you all know this. If he was, people say this all the time. The courts are messed up. So just because he's saying it, now you have a problem with it? People have been saying that for years. The court system is a disaster. People are out on bail. People have cases going on for 20 years. Why is that? What's that all about? These people can't travel. They can't do anything. They can't open bank accounts. They're not proven guilty. It's a mess. The courts are a mess. But the Prime Minister says it now, and it's a problem. Well, that's crazy. What? Oh, okay. Well, I thought you were like in your 30s or something. The person says, yeah, my pension, I'll be 60 in 3 years. Oh, okay. Well, that's not that bad. Right. All right. A couple more messages before we go to the break here. So far, it seems like not many people are into the 67 retirement age. Yeah? We don't want that. Well, what are you going to do? What are we going to do? This person says, stop letting them go at 60. What do you mean? You mean let them work past 60? Yeah, well, there are lots of people working past 60, working past 70. But as that previous texter says, what are you getting? What are you getting for that? Not that you're not there. Your faculties aren't there, but it's just that you're slowing down a bit, as he said. And does that help with the efficiency? We know we have a challenge with that in many regards. What will that mean? Will we have a less productive society, but NIB will be solvent? Yeah? Is that okay? Sounds like that's not going to be okay. I don't know. But let's continue to have this conversation. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more on this, more of your reaction to it, and then we'll get to what the Prime Minister said about his trip as well. This is Morning Blend on a Tuesday morning. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Come on now. Woo! Money
my fancy clothes. Only God knows I broke, busted, I got no money. We gotta start, y'all, and I gonna be right there profiling.
Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. Homeland Security is now investigating a tragic incident in Texas. 46 people have been found dead in a tractor trailer, apparently migrants being smuggled across the border from Mexico. The AP's Ben Thomas.
The tractor trailer had been abandoned on a back road in San Antonio. Police Chief William McManus says a worker in a nearby building made the discovery.
Heard a cry for help, came out to investigate, found a trailer with the doors partially open.
Fire Chief Charles Hood says 46 of the people inside were dead, but 12 adults and 4 children were taken to hospitals.
The patients that we saw were hot to the touch. They were suffering from heat stroke, heat exhaustion.
Sound courtesy KSAT. I'm Ben Thomas.
3 people are in custody. Passengers on a flipped-over Amtrak train were crawling out of a window, says a survivor, after the train hit a dump truck in Missouri. 3 people were killed, dozens injured. A mystery witness will testify at the surprise House January 6th committee hearing this afternoon. The AP's Sagar Magani.
That raises expectations of new bombshells, with the committee saying it wants to present recently obtained evidence. The panel received new footage of Donald Trump and his inner circle from a British filmmaker, taken before and after the riot. It's unclear if that footage is tomorrow's subject, and a panel spokesman would not comment on the hearing's substance. There have been 5 hearings so far. At least 2 more were planned for July, with panel members saying they'd focus on domestic extremists who breached the Capitol and what Trump was doing at the time. Sagar Magani, Washington.
The G7 leaders have been wrapping up their summit this morning, promising to hold Russia accountable for its war in Ukraine. This is AP News. Ukraine's prosecutor general has visited the site of a bombed shopping mall in Kremenchuk. 18 people known dead.
Long-range bombers struck the shopping mall in the afternoon with more than 1,000 people inside. Most managed to escape. As rescue workers still search through the rubble, the Prosecutor General, Irina Venediktova, who's leading investigations into possible war crimes, says the bombing of the civilian infrastructure raises a question of crimes against humanity.
That it is a civilian object and they shelled civilian infrastructure. Again and again. It's a question about crimes against humanity.
With reporters, Venediktova added the Russians are systematically shelling civilian infrastructure with the aim to scare people, to kill people, to bring terror to our cities and villages. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
And I'm Rita Foley, AP News. 7:40 the time for your first look at traffic for this morning. Brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. A reminder about Village Road. The work continues there. You're really going to want to avoid the area if you can. And it's not a pleasant drive. And there are detours and closures in some sections, so keep that in mind. In your real-time traffic, we've got Mile Butler Highway seeing some heavy traffic just north of the Fire Trail roundabout on the way up to Tonique Williams Darling Highway. That's the northbound lanes there. Your alternate routes are looking better for you. Gladstone Road, just north of Munnings Road, you'll see that heavy traffic on the way to JFK Drive. That's the northbound lanes. And Blue Hill Road, heavy traffic just north of Soldier Road on the way to the roundabout with Independence Drive building traffic westbound to that roundabout at this hour. Then we've got pockets at various spots like East Street and Robinson Road, the intersection there, and along Prince Charles Drive, the major intersections. And some building traffic on Carmichael westbound to the roundabout with Coral Harbor Road. That's what we're seeing so far.
That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic. It's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by BTC. Here's what's happening. We've got deep layered disturbances that's going to continue to spark bouts of unsettled weather over the northern Bahamas while moving northwestwards today. Meanwhile, high-pressure ridging along with a plume of Saharan dust will invade the southern islands today. Boaters and residents should be alert for waterspout or tornado activity, and beachgoers in the central and southeast Bahamas should be exercising caution along east and south coast beaches due to the risk of rip currents. And there is a risk of localized flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas during heavy or prolonged rainfall. For today, for the northwest Bahamas, look for cloudy to occasionally overcast, warm and breezy conditions with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Showers may be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. For the central and southeast Bahamas, variably cloudy, warm and breezy with widely scattered showers and thunderstorms with progressive clearing expected by this afternoon, along with slightly hazy conditions. Small craft caution in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas. Temperatures today getting up to around 85 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Again, we're expecting rain. And lows tonight getting down to about 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. In your extended outlook, the deep layered disturbance will maintain a moist and unstable and unsettled weather pattern over the northwestern portions of the central Bahamas by Wednesday, with improving and drier conditions by Thursday across most of the country. So for tomorrow, Wednesday, variably cloudy, very warm and breezy with widely scattered showers and isolated embedded thunderstorms. In the northwest Bahamas, a chance of stray showers possible in the central and southeastern islands. By Thursday, variably cloudy, warm and a bit breezy with isolated showers and a slight chance of isolated thunderstorms over the northwest Bahamas still. In the tropics, we've got a lot going on. We have a potential tropical cyclone 2. We'll get to that in a moment. We've also got a surface trough of low pressure located over the north-central Gulf of Mexico. The system has a low or 30% chance of development through the next 5 days. And a tropical wave located about 1,200 miles east of the Windward Islands is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. The system has a low, about 20% chance of development through the next 5 days. For potential tropical cyclone 2, that could bring some heavy rain to portions of the Caribbean, including Trinidad. We'll tell you all about that in our next weather update after the 8 o'clock news. This weather update brought to you by BTC. All BTC prepaid combos now include full unlimited WhatsApp. Enjoy full WhatsApp. Enjoy unlimited WhatsApp chat, unlimited WhatsApp video calls, unlimited WhatsApp calls, unlimited WhatsApp sharing. Visit any BTC location or WhatsApp or email their virtual store to activate today.
Are you an attorney with a joint practice operating from one location? Accepting payments from clients doesn't have to be complicated.
Introducing RBC MultiPay. Now each attorney can securely accept and settle payments with one point-of-sale device supporting multiple bank accounts.
With competitive pricing, training, and easy setup, you will be up and running in no time.
Call 356-8500 to sign up for
RBC
MultiPay.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, Life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care, for every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Switch for better when you move your mortgage to Scotiabank. Leave behind that old mortgage plan and open the door to a low interest rate. No payments for up to 2 months and cash back of 2.5% of the mortgage amount up to US $10,000. And guess what? It gets better. Apply for your Scotiabank credit card and enjoy a low 9.99% introductory rate for the first 6 months. Switch for better and upgrade your mortgage today with Scotiabank. Offer ends June 30th, 2022.
Hello? Keisha, you something else, boy.
Who this is? Tamika?
You ain't even remember my name? Wow, Dread.
Girl, I've been so busy. You still planning your trip?
Girl, and I can't wait. I right here online booking my car.
You dare planning trip? You vaccinated?
Girl, we had to. We ain't been nowhere since this pandemic started. Girl, and we got a 14-day vacation.
Best vacation ever.
Girl, are you though?
Well, I know you was gonna get the vaccine because you too like travel. When you'll get your vaccine?
Girl, long time. Because you gotta get your first dose, wait, then get your second dose at least 2 weeks before you travel. Johnny get his vaccine and he 12. Even Grammy get hers. Child, and Grammy say she ain't get no money. But I see her hiding that under the mattress.
Child, let me send my list because I know you going shopping.
Keisha, don't play with me.
Vaccinate today, live tomorrow. A message by PAHO WHO, Canada, and USAID.
We're good for you.
We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Yes. All right.
running around the yard. I used to hear the older men talking by the bar. They talk about the things they did when they were young and strong, and how things are better now than it was before. I didn't understand what they meant back then. I'm a little older now. I think I comprehend when they say age ain't nothing but a number. You're just as old as you feel. Even though I move a little slower, everything I do is twice as...
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you on this Tuesday morning, getting your reaction to what's in the news. All right, so we're getting some text messages saying that, hey, with the politicians and some of these guys, including the Prime Minister, well over the retirement age, this is, they might be quite fine with moving up the retirement age. Sure. Okay. So, as we said, there's going to be a lot in the newscast about what has happened over the past few days. We've got some of it here. This is a lot, folks. This is a lot. The police force issuing this statement. They're investigating 3 homicides, all taking place between yesterday and this morning. 3 separate homicides. Detectives in New Providence investigating the circumstances between the deaths of 3 men in separate incidents, Monday, June 27th, and Tuesday, June 28th. The first incident. Reports are that sometime after 2 p.m., police were called to a business establishment on Carmichael Road as a result of a stabbing incident. On arrival, the first responding officers were directed to a man suffering from injuries consistent with knife wounds. The victim was taken to the hospital and later succumbed to his injuries. Initial investigations revealed that there was an altercation between 2 men. This resulted in one of the men producing a knife and stabbing the other several times. An adult man arrested and taken into custody. He's assisting police with the investigation. That was yesterday at 2 p.m. The second incident. Reports are that sometime after 10 p.m., police were called to a shooting incident on Dean Street. Officers arriving were informed that a group of people standing outside a business establishment, when a vehicle pulled up. People in the vehicle got out, discharged the weapons at the group, hitting 4 men. 4 people shot. The victims were taken to the hospital via private vehicles. One of the men later succumbed to his injury. The others are listed in serious condition. In the third incident, shortly after midnight, police were alerted to the sounds of gunshots at the intersection of Beatrice Avenue and Charles Saunders Highway. Officers dispatched, and on arrival at the scene, they found an unresponsive man lying in the southbound lane on Beatrice Avenue. EMS visited the scene and pronounced the man dead. Initial investigations revealed that a vehicle was at a stop at the traffic light on Charles Saunders Highway when an altercation ensued between 3 men. One of the occupants pulled out a gun and shot at the other 2 men. They both ran north along Beatrice Avenue, where one of the men collapsed. The whereabouts of the second man is unknown at this time. The shooter returned to the vehicle and fled the scene. Some of y'all are really living like you're in a movie. I really... Wow. All in that tiny window of time. Not even 24 hours. Tiny little New Providence. That's crazy. That is crazy. Wow. And they're also investigating an armed robbery and rape. Police in the Southern District of New Providence on Sunday saying that sometime after 4 a.m., a woman was awakened by the sound of an item dropping from her dresser. She then noticed a man standing before her. The suspect produced a knife, robbed her of cash and other personal items, then sexually assaulted her before fleeing the scene. This is where we're at, folks. This is where we are at. Every week we ask, what are we going to do? What we're going to do? Are the people out on bail? Are they known to the police? Sometimes. Sometimes they're not. Many times they're children. And yet here we still are. Every altercation ends in gunshots, gunfire. Because everybody's apparently strapped. And we act surprised and want to blame everybody else for it. (323-6232), 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. This is a long text here, so will probably take us right to the news. This person says here, time for the Prime Minister, Philip Brave Davis, and Minister of National Security, Wayne Roosevelt Monroe, okay, all the names, to head over to the mountain and have the Governor General declare and place New Providence under the state of emergency. Really? Yeah? Okay. We as a country have to face the fact that the island has and will continue to be a killing zone. Law and order has been lost. Presently, we see that it has started at the top with leadership. Over the years, we've had leaders without honor that have left themselves unfit to govern. That failure has permeated to the general community, and now corruption has become endemic. I believe martial law should be declared. A combined national security force should be able to bring law and order. There's no other way, as the education process has failed or is not working as intended. Since we cannot be ruled by conscience, then it should be done by force. In time, discipline will become the order of the day. Okay. Folks, think on that text there, and we'll process that and get your reactions to that after the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Age ain't nothing but a number. You're just as old as you feel. Even though I move a little slower, everything I do is twice as sweet, just like wine. All the time, champagne, my name, caviar, from afar.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. And now at 8:22, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got a deep layered disturbance that is continuing to spark bouts of unsettled weather across the northern Bahamas while moving towards the northwest today. We've also got high pressure ridging along with a plume of Saharan dust that's going to be an issue for the southern islands today. Boaters and residents should be alert for possible waterspout or tornado activity. And beachgoers in the central and southeast Bahamas should exercise caution along east and south coast beaches due to the risk of rip currents. There's also the risk of localized flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas during heavy or prolonged rainfall today. So, for today, for the northwest Bahamas, look for cloudy to occasionally overcast, warm, and breezy conditions with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Showers may be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. The central and southeast Bahamas will see variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with widely scattered showers and thunderstorms with progressive clearing expected by this afternoon with slightly hazy conditions. Small craft cautions in effect for the central and southeastern islands. Look for highs getting up to around 85 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. In your extended outlook, the deep layer disturbance will maintain a moist and unsettled pattern over the northwest and portions of the central Bahamas by Wednesday, with improving and drier conditions across the islands by Thursday. So ahead of that clearing, look for tomorrow, Wednesday. It's another wet day, variably cloudy, very warm and breezy with scattered showers and isolated embedded thunderstorms in the northwestern islands and a chance of stray showers in the central and southeastern islands. Thursday, variably cloudy, warm, and a bit breezy to breezy with isolated showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms over the northwestern islands. In the tropics, 3 areas we're watching. Potential tropical cyclone 2. That is already causing some warnings to be issued and watches. As of this morning, the disturbance is moving towards the southern Windward Islands, likely to bring heavy rains and gusty winds later today. As of 5 o'clock, potential tropical cyclone 2 was located about 420 miles east of Trinidad. Potential tropical cyclone 2 is moving toward the west at 23 miles per hour, and a westward or west-northwestward motion is expected through Thursday. On the forecast track, the system will pass near or over portions of the southern Windward Islands by tonight and move over the southern Caribbean Sea or near the southern coast, near the northern coast of Venezuela on Wednesday and Thursday. Maximum sustained winds are near 40 miles per hour with higher gusts, and strengthening is forecast during the next few days while the disturbance remains over water. Of course, that's well in the south and well in the southern Caribbean. No threat to us here, but just in case you have friends or family in Trinidad and the southern Windward Islands, keep that in mind. Then we've got 2 other systems we're keeping an eye on. We've got a surface trough of low pressure located over the north-central Gulf of Mexico. The system has a 20 or 30% chance of development through the next 5 days. And then there's a tropical wave about 1,200 miles east of the Windward Islands, producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. That system has about a 20% chance of development through the next 5 days. So the tropics are heating up, but that's what's happening, and we'll keep an eye on it for you. And that's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance, still the first and only local insurance company and agency network that lets you buy car and home insurance 100% online. Try it at bahamasfirst.com. And time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. Another reminder about Village Road. Avoid the air if you can. There are going to be multiple delays and even closures at various points, especially the northern part of Village Road on the way to Montague. Keep that in mind this morning. Already seeing some traffic in that area near Shirley and Village Road. In your real-time traffic elsewhere, Mile Butler Highway is your hotspot as usual, from Fire Trail up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. Heavy traffic there. Blue Hill Road also busy near the junction with Carmichael Road and north of Soldier Road on the way to Blue, over the hill to Blue to Independence Drive, the roundabout with Independence Drive this morning. Elsewhere, not looking so bad. Even Gladstone Road looking pretty good for you. Just as you get near Munnings Road, you'll see that heavy traffic northbound to JFK Drive. Those are your hotspots. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking about the Junkanoo Summer Festival. We'll be getting all the details about what you need to know for that always highly anticipated event. That's going to be in just a few minutes. So before the break, we got a very interesting, very long text message calling for martial law, calling for a state of emergency to be declared in New Providence. This after 3 people were murdered in just under 12 hours since yesterday afternoon, 3 separate incidents. And 6 people in total shot, 2 fatally. And fatal stabbing incident as well. And boy. So, but yeah, this texter, I mean, I don't know if they were here. Maybe they were on a different planet during the lockdowns, and now that didn't really change anything. But that's what they're saying needs to happen. So I want to get your reaction to that. Do you think it needs, and we know we need drastic action to do something to stem this blood flowing in our streets. But is that what's necessary? A state of emergency. Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Or are most people just thinking, hey, it's those guys over there, those known to police folks, and let them kill each other off, and the rest of us will be okay. I just increase my security protection and do whatever. Is that how we're thinking about it, or do we need to get more drastic? Tell us what you're thinking there. This message, martial law in a country where your biggest 2 private sector employers are hotels. These people are really disconnected from reality. Yep, it really does seem so. I'm very, very surprised that somebody would say that after what we saw. And then, while the numbers did dip for crime, some people were still getting murdered, right? During that time when we had something very similar. And then right after all that was lifted, we're back to these elevated numbers. So did that do anything? Good morning, caller. What say you on this?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, good day. How you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah. I think there is a big concern for the martial law situation, but I also think it could be avoided and prevention is better than cure, right? I'm in a situation right now where I gave a mechanic, a guy by the name of Shower. He's on an alias. He's a Jamaican national. He stole $500 from me.
Is this something that we should be talking about on the air? Did you go to the police with this?
Yes, I just want to draw an illustration why the crime is how it is in Nassau. Plenty people are doing plenty injustice on the street, and people are seeking justice for themselves because little simple matters that I think the police can kind of help out or kind of make justified instead of going through the court system and this and that, like making people accountable for their actions instead of people ending up being frustrated and taking it out on people. Because you could imagine in a time like this, that amount of money being stolen from me, and where does that leave me in standing with my business, with my rent, with my kids? Like, where do I go from here? Like, what can I do? I can't afford $50 and $100 to put them in court and go through the long procedures or the court system. So can you tell me what can we do to stop this injustice in society and people treating people the way they are and robbing people, and especially foreigners coming to this country and getting over on behemoth, and then at the end of the day, he's still the ones that end up having to pay the consequences. So I'll line up and listen to you, but I need some advice because right now I'm lost and confused.
I hear you. I feel your pain. I don't know if I have an answer for you. I really don't. Boy. And it sounds like that's something you just can't let go. Wow. Yeah, a lot of people texting. Who can we go to? He's right. Who can we go to? Yeah, we need a bat signal and Batman, eh? I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Boy. This text here, it seems like everyone has a gun. Don't get in an argument with anybody. But we have a media who refused to call out the U.S. Embassy for all the guns they allowed across their borders. Wow. Wow. Okay. Every part of this last part is out there, hey? Media, U.S. Embassy allowing guns. Okay. Texter, seriously? Boy. As I always say, the guns don't attach themselves to people's hands and force them to pull the trigger. So there is a high demand for these guns. I don't know where they're coming from. Well, clearly, some of y'all do. But if people didn't want them, there wouldn't be a market for them. And we aren't getting to that. And that is a long-term situation to deal with because it's programmed clearly into young boys and probably even girls that they've got to have this protection for some reason. And we aren't doing much to move them away from that type of thinking. But okay, but keep blaming, keep looking for people to blame. Good morning, caller, you're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good morning. I have a comment about NIB being raised. My thing is, during the pandemic, what it did was it showcased the negligence that is going on with NIB. So my question is, why is it the first resort is to raise NIB rather than, we all know that every company, every establishment in our country has to be registered with NIB. When this pandemic took place, what it did was showed how many companies was not paying NIB for their workers. So why, instead of going right to raising NIB on us, why not go to ensure that all of these companies, these employees, start paying NIB for their workers? Where's the officers that were supposed to ensure that these NIBs are paid? And I'm sure right now, over this short period of time, there was no way for the government right now to ensure that all of the companies had already come up to date with their NIB payments. So why, before adding NIB status going up, why not try and collect all the money that is due rather than raising NIB for us? I don't understand that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, they're always trying. They're always trying. It's not as easy as you'd think, right? But they are always going after. They're always putting people in court. And some will say the money's gone. But, All right, let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. How are you?
Doing well.
You know, the gentleman who just called, I understand everything he said. And those are the voices that you need to listen to because that's where the problems are coming. When justice cannot be served for them, they will serve up justice on their own. You're probably listening for people calling in, educated people calling in, and people calling in about political people stepping in and solving these problems. but he's speaking from the communities in which these problems are coming from. And I feel him. You understand? Because he's saying that even the $100 that it costs for him to go to the court to find justice, he cannot afford it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where these problems are coming from.
Yep.
And those are the voices that we need to listen to. I understand everything he's saying.
So what do we do?
You listen to them.
But listen, that can only do so much. Where do you go after that? I mean, you listening will comfort for maybe a few minutes, but the reality will hit that you still have been robbed. You still have been wronged.
If you'd like to make...
Yeah? What happens after that? Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
The lady that called concerning national insurance, I'm in agreement with her. I feel like the way the persons from Inland Revenue saying that they're going after the owed money, the taxes, I feel like that's a plan that national insurance should take up. And I heard you say that they try and it's not as easy said as done. However, I'm speaking of a personal situation where a permanent family in this country my mom worked for years, and they wasn't paying her national insurance. When she got sick, I went to national insurance to check up on it. They hadn't paid her national insurance from 92. On that point, it was like 2015, 14. And the persons that was placed to deal with it knows the family and sat back on it. So I made trips after trips after trips to get them to start collecting her national insurance. And they gave me one excuse after the other. I had one person who actually reached out to the family to start to find a way to collect. And just how they start, somehow it stopped again. My mom passed in 2017, so I stopped checking for it. But I'm positive those monies were never paid.
Wow, yeah.
You understand? So I'm looking at what she's saying, and I understand what you said also, but I know they can do better. They just refuse to. Their friends and families and lovers, they let them slip by. I personally work for a security company that collected my national insurance, and when I check on my contribution, it was back by a year at that point. I left the company since then. But these are persons that are out there, and this is a former police officer who owns the security company, but they collect your insurance, your national insurance out of your pay, but they don't turn it over to national insurance. And national insurance knows this because me and a few other employees went there. They just lackadaisy. So they can do more. They just refuse to do more. They just want to charge us more because these persons who owe it are their friends, their families, their lovers.
Yeah.
And they refuse to go after them.
Boy, that's rough. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. They do need to name and shame, but you're right. People are protecting people. A few more messages as we have to move on. This person says here, it's people like that texter that will gladly give up their freedom. I think they're talking about the one who says we need martial law. Gladly give up their freedom because of the slightest inconvenience. They are clueless about how the world works. Another one here, quick trials, convictions, and hangings wouldn't have to worry about these people being known to police. Why don't we have more small claims courts? The functionality of our courts are the problems and not the solution. Another one here says, we've had it bad before, but it's getting worse. The Prime Minister made the poster some years back when it wasn't as bad. So what is his administration going to do now? I think you're talking about the PLPs. Okay. That caller is the voice of the people. There are thousands of Bahamians being taken advantage of with no recourse. On the martial law point, though, miss me with that. Show me evidence that these CCTV cameras are working first. Show me the undercover cops on buses and patrols. Show me the roadblocks. The first answer can't be to punish the citizens when governments are incompetent. Yep, that is a great text. Thank you for that. This person says here, rather than the Minister of National Security focusing on the Adrian Gibson matter, what now? Who? What? He needs to concentrate on methods to deal with this most unacceptable rate of crime. Okay. Now this is an interesting text here. Come on, Dwight. You were educated in the States, and I believe you can come up with solutions. Recommend some lawyers to call in to hear his case, or have someone come on the show, or share something about conflict resolution. Just throwing up your hand seems like you can't think. Well, I don't know why you're... Anyway. Texter, this must be your first day listening to the show. Thank you very much. Welcome. Every single month, I think we have these type topics, and we just had the legal aid, the Eugene DeBeach Law School legal aid clinic folks on. They had a clinic on Saturday, and there are more to come. But that's free legal advice there if he can seek that. But it sounds like that's going to need more than just that. But those are options there, of course. But you tell me where you think that's going to get him. You tell me. But okay. Anyway, if he made a complaint with the police and the matter is before the courts, it may be delayed, but he will get justice. The legal processes are indeed long, but it is all that we have. What the government needs is a small claims court set up to resolve these minor matters. I believe the majority of people are getting illegal firearms for protection. Our system is failing. The police can't protect you. The courts can't protect you. As a charged suspect on bail, you're automatically a target. As a selected juror, you are protected, so individuals are afraid to be... You are not protected, so individuals are afraid to be a juror. Yeah. And please let people know they can go online and sign on to their NIB account and monitor it from time to time. Yes. They have been telling people that for a while, before it gets to 20, 30 years. Without any contributions being made on your behalf. Another one here. I was taken in handcuffs to a cell for saying the F word to a police officer, but people who break real laws, like not paying NIB for 20 years, aren't dragged to jail. They need to be dragged to jail and made an example of and not released until they pay. Okay. I have questions, but let's move on. This one says here, but that's all well and good for the increase. My concern as a citizen is what about our contribution collection rate as of today? Or will it be the same people paying the contribution while the slackers and delinquents continue to be delinquent? Yes, you know that. And more questions about small claims courts. Okay, next time we have the lawyers, we'll talk about that too. I see all the phones are lit up, but we have to move on. We have to take a break. When we come back, how are you spending your summer? How about the Junction Summer Festival? We'll give you all the details in just a bit. Stay tuned. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Check your band. I thought that you and him were friends.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care, for every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
At Western Union, we have different sending options for you to use the one that fits you best. You can send money directly to bank accounts around the world, or for cash pickup by visiting our agent locations. Or you can also start your money transfer in our app and then pay cash in store. Look for an agent location near you, or download our app and send money to your loved ones abroad.
You know, you should teach a savings class, because you know everything.
No, I just choose wisely. Like, I just got 2 months free home internet from BTC. All I did was sign up for internet.
2 months internet free? For real?
I bundled my internet and mobile services, and now I'm paying half of what the other guys charge. Plus, as a new customer, I get 2 months internet free.
What? Nah, that's a big deal.
Switch to BTC Internet and get the second and third months free for new customers. Conditions apply.
Fly away to your favorite island to experience the magic of the 2022 Goombay Summer Festival, starting July 1st through August 27th across the islands of the Bahamas. It's set to be the biggest one yet, with mouth-watering culinary delights, Goombay music, rake and scrape bands, bohemian performances, and much more. It's Goombay Summer Festival 2022, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism, Investments, and Aviation.
That's right, boys and girls. Get ready to play basketball at the 34th Annual Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp, July 4th through July 29th at the Kendall J. Isaacs Gym, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. daily. So parents, get your boys and girls ages 5 through 18 registered now. Applications available at the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Tonic Williams Darling Highway, and at the registration desk at Campsite Kendall J. Isaacs Gym. Special appearances by NBA players, legends, and coaches. So get your boys and girls registered now, ages 5 through 18, for the 34th Annual Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp, July 4th through July 29th.
Nassau Tile is having its annual inventory sale. That's right. From June 23rd to 29th, you can save up to 25% off selected 12 by 24-inch porcelain tiles and take 20% off store-wide on all tile, thinset, grout, and mosaics. Our tile experts are ready to guide you in selecting the right tiles for your kitchen backsplash, living room, bathroom, and patio. So don't miss out. Call 322-2100 or visit our showroom at 43 Dowsville Street and save big with Nassau Tile, where the world is at your feet.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Breakfast just got better at Wendy's. Introducing the Breakfast Biggie Bag. Enjoy a double sausage muffin with 2 square sausage patties, a freshly cracked egg, and cheese served on a toasted English muffin, a medium waffle fries, and an orange juice for only $5.25, VAT inclusive. Add an apple pie for just $1 more.
Say what?
At Wendy's, better breakfast is all day. Offers valid in participating locations. Wendy's, different inside and out.
Imagine driving your dream car, doing all the things you never thought you could, like perfecting your parallel parking skills or picking up your date. Everyone loves to dream. Stop dreaming. Start driving with a brand new offer from Scotiabank. With an auto loan from Scotiabank, benefit from no payments for up to 2 months, a low interest rate up to 9 years to repay, and free insurance for the first year up to 2.5% of the loan amount. Promotion ends June 30th, 2022. Stop dreaming and start driving today with an auto loan from Scotiabank.
Doctors Hospital's Pharmacy introduces a new spin on prescriptions called Pick Up Now, Pay Later. That's right, you can collect your medications first and pay after. How does it work? Step 1, submit a prescription online. Step 2, select the pickup site. Step 3, collect your medication. And Step 4, pay online within 14 days. For more info, call us at 242-302-4785 or visit us at doctorshosp.com.
Create memories and experience moments with the love of your life that will last a lifetime right in our backyard. Escape the hustle and bustle of Nassau with your special someone for an intimate island getaway. You can get lost in the magic of an island sunrise or count the stars in the night sky. In the Family Islands, disconnect from the world and reconnect with the one that means the most. Now is the perfect time with our 2 fly-free Bahamas Residence special. Go to bahamasresidence.com for more info.
Are you an attorney with a joint practice operating from one location? Accepting payments from clients doesn't have to be complicated.
Introducing RBC MultiPay. Now each attorney can securely accept and settle payments with one point-of-sale device supporting multiple bank accounts.
With competitive pricing, training, and easy setup, you will be up and running in no time.
Call 356-8500 to sign up for
RBC
MultiPay.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
People are rising up, the groups them lining up. We gon' bring it back to Bombay. We bout to liven up, girls them winding up. Girl roll that bongie like it's spring break. Oh, I got that talent. Ain't nothing holding me back. So I can't let them know I got that feeling.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you on this Tuesday morning. And Junkanoo Summer Festival is back. And bigger and better, we're told. Director of Events Management in the Ministry of Tourism, Charity Armbruster, is here with us to tell us more. Charity, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well, doing very well. Finally, hey, after 2 years, we are finally back to doing this in person.
Yes, and we are just so excited to be able to bring it to the Bahamian people and to our visitors. We're really looking forward to it.
All right, so let's talk about it. I don't know how people could not know what this is, but for those who might not be familiar, what is the Junkanoo Summer Festival all about?
Okay, so Junkanoo Summer Festival is our largest signature event here at the Ministry of Tourism. And it's filled with our culture and heritage. And like it's called Junkanoo Summer Festival, it's all about Junkanoo. And so we have a number of the A groups and B groups that will be rushing, early rush, as well as rushes in the evening.
Okay, all right, so when is that going to be happening? When that?
So the first event will take place July. It's the whole month of July, actually. And so it's July 2nd, 16th, 23rd, and 30th. And you would wonder why I skipped July 9th. Because that is the Independence Celebration weekend. And, you know, people will want to participate.
Yeah, there's a whole lot going on that weekend.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
And it starts, it will be held at our Raki in the area just opposite the Fish Fry Vendors from 12 p.m. to 12 midnight. And it's going to be action-packed with activities every Saturday. In addition to the Junkanoo rushes and the cultural experiences, we have what we call the concert series. So each week we will end with a grand Bahamian concert.
Wow. Wow. Do you have the lineup for that as yet?
Well, actually, yes. We have persons participating such as, oh man, there's so many, I don't want to leave anybody out, but you have, first of all, we also have the police marching band as well as the Defense Force marching band in the afternoon. And for the first week, we have the Urban Renewal marching band. And for the concert series, we have Scotch Town, Rhythm Band, Synergy, Cupid, Nishi, Shine, Franchon, Bloody, you name it. Veronica Bishop, Funky D, Spine Band, Visage. So there's something there for everyone. Your favorite group or your artist will be performing. And this year we're also having what we call a kids cultural village. Not a kids corner. Because it's going to really be exciting and educational with storytelling games like Name That Tree, Name That Island, pony rides, kite flying, top spinning, rim racing. Do you know what that is?
I do not.
Racing?
No.
Oh, you need to come too.
Yeah? Wait, is this something to do with the bicycle and you... Oh, and you push... Okay. All right, so that's what it's called, eh? Okay.
That were played, you know.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
Growing up and years ago. And
Oh,
then you have the scooter race, you know, the little wooden scooter.
Ah, yes.
You put one foot and you go. You have bush medicine. And of course, for the younger kids, there will be the bouncing castle and other games like that.
Okay. All right, Charity, we're having a little issue with your audio. We're going to take a quick break and try to see if we can do something about that. Not sure if it's on our end or your end, but we're going to make that adjustment and then pick this up with more. So let's do that, and we'll take the news break as well. And then we'll pick up and see if we can get your audio sorted out. Give us a moment, folks. This is the Morning Blend. We're talking with Charity on Bristol with the Ministry of Tourism, and it's Junkanoo Summer Festival time again, finally, in person, no virtual, live, and we're looking so forward to it. And kicking off this Saturday, right, Charity?
Yes.
Yep. All right. So
This Saturday.
this Saturday, we'll get to that.
Out, so you don't want to miss it. We start at 12 noon with DJ music.
All right.
And then we have some local bands, and we have the Heritage Game.
All right. We'll pick that up when we can go in just a moment. So stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned.
Down on there, it's going down out on there. Yeah. Down on there. So we tell them, oh na na, oh na na na, oh na na, oh na na na, oh na na, oh na na na. It's going down out on there. Yeah. Watching down the road, I like the way she roll. You could see them colors from far away. On overload and everything exposed. We've been waiting all day for this parade. Oh, I got that feeling. Ain't nothing holding me back. So I tell all the gal them, I got that feeling. This Junkanoo got me throwing it back. It's going down out on there. Yeah. Down on there. It's going down out on there. Down on there. So we tell them, oh na na, oh na na na, oh na na, oh na na na, oh na na, oh na na na. It's going down out on there. Yeah. Come girl, went to the drum now, went to the tom tom, come out and rush for me. I say went to the drum now, went to the tom tom, come now and rush for me. I say went to the bass now, went to the drum now, come out and rush for me. I say come now and rush for me. I say come now and rush for me. We say, oh. It's going down out on there. Down on there. It's going down out on there.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend, and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, we're going to be talking about cultural tourism and what one group is doing to expose Bahamian culture to the world and taking in other aspects of other cultures as well. We'll get to them in a bit. But we continue talking with Charity Armbruster with the Ministry of Tourism. We're talking about Junkanoo Summer Festival. Charity, I think we've got you sorted out now. Let's hear. Are you there?
Hi, I'm back.
That's much better. Wow. Okay. All right. Wonderful. All right. So you were saying that the Junkanoo Summer Festival kicks off this weekend, and
Yes.
for 4 Julys, but not the weekend of the anniversary, the Independence celebrations.
Right, exactly.
All right.
So
Wonderful.
that's every Saturday, except July 9th at Arawak Key, beginning at 12 noon. And as I was saying, the Kids Heritage Village is really going to be a great hit. And in addition to that, another new thing we're introducing is the sip and paste. And so for the Junkanoo enthusiasts who want to come out there and have some sips and paste their costume, there's a small fee of $25 for that. That's a new attraction. During the early afternoon, of course, we have our usual heritage games, pineapple eating, melon eating, crab catching, cane peeling. So a lot of down-home cultural activities will take place.
That's going to be amazing. Okay, so the sip and paste, as you said, is that just for children, or can adults do that as well?
Adults, definitely adults. Yes,
Right.
it's actually not a part of the kids' cultural village. Yes,
Okay.
it's for anyone, and so we're hoping to also push that a lot with hotels so that visitors can come and participate. And as you know, every Junkanoo Summer Festival, we organize shuttle buses from the various hotels in Cable Beach and Paradise Island, as well as from the cruise port. And so the buses go back and forth and allow the visitors to come and participate, enjoy in our festivities, get to know Bahamian culture. We also have a number of authentic Bahamian artisans who will be out there providing demonstrations, whether it's basket weaving, making conch shell jewelry, blown glass jewelry, you name it. For the Junkanooers this year, we will have a competition with an off-the-shoulder piece where persons can come and sign up. It's free. There are great prizes, monetary prizes. They can start the costume the first week. You come back the second week, pick up where you left off. And so you have 4 weeks to really complete that particular piece. And at the end, there is a prize for the first, second, and third place winners.
All right. So somebody's asked me why want the kids to be sipping. It could have been Kool-Aid. It could have been soda. It didn't have to be. Right. Okay.
True.
Anyway, all right. Speaking of soda, I mean, there's going to be a lot of food, right? That's what the Junkanoo Summer Festival is known for. Lots of food options.
Yes, and we have a variety of vendors. We also have some new vendors coming out. There was just so much excitement and anticipation that we couldn't even accommodate all of the vendors. And so for those that we are working with, we will have to stagger some of them. Some of them will perhaps come out 2 or maybe 3 weeks, just to allow for as many persons to benefit, because they've all been waiting for this for the past 2 years.
Wow. And the most amazing thing is that this is free to get into, isn't it?
Absolutely free. And where can you go to get all day, all night entertainment for absolutely free? So we're inviting all of our Bahamians to come on out I'm sure we will have our visitors there. And what we did this year also was to have an early Junkanoo rush at about 5:36. Most of those will be with the B groups, and then the A groups will rush at 9 p.m. And that is to allow more persons to experience the Junkanoo, because in the past, a lot of people felt that the Junkanoo was a little bit too late, especially if, there were families with kids. And so we thought, well, okay, it's Junkanoo Summer Festival. We want to make sure persons participate and experience the Junkanoo. And so that is why we've changed the format a bit, and we will end with the concert series.
All right, wonderful. All right, so can you tell us which A groups are going to be performing each week, or is that kept a secret? Rushing each week.
It's not a secret. I just don't have it in my hand right now. But I'm sure for the first week, we have music makers and one family.
Okay. All right.
So that's the groups that are performing this week. And so what we've done is some weeks, I think this is the only week we might just have one or two to three groups. The other weeks, we have 2, 3, up to 4. And so every week we will be announcing who the Junkanoo groups will be that will be performing. And for more information, persons can go to www.bahamas.com/events. And for more specific information, they can feel free to call the Ministry of Tourism 302-2000 and ask for the Authentic Events Department.
Right, and all the A groups are taking place.
Yes,
in this, right?
we have about I think it's 7 or 8 A groups. Yes, and perhaps about the same numbers. So most of the groups are participating. They're really anxious to get back out there again. And as we know, COVID is still with us. And while it's very difficult to say, well, social distance at an event such as this, we will be reminding persons to continue to be careful. If you're not eating and drinking, wear your mask. We will have sanitation stations throughout the grounds, and cleaners, space cleaners, restroom cleaners will be periodically just going in and wiping down, and we're trying to make sure that everybody remains safe.
Okay. All right. And again, this starts Saturday coming.
Yes, Saturday, July 2nd, starting at 12 p.m. We have DJ music, food vendors will be out, but the activities really begin at about 2 o'clock. And another thing I want to mention actually is the culinary component. We have culinary demonstrations as well as mixology demonstrations. And whatever is demonstrated, persons who participate in that activity can take away the recipe cards so that they can try it when they got home.
Wow, that is very exciting. All right, so this is Junkanoo Summer Festival, and I just want to say, because people have been hearing commercials for Goombay Summer Festival as well.
Yes.
That's a little different.
Goombay is actually being held on Grand Bahama as well as throughout the Family Islands.
Okay.
And that will take place as well during the month of July and August.
Oh, so there's going to be a lot going on. We're going to hear more about Goombay Summer Festival later in the week here on the show. But this is Junkanoo Summer Festival right here in New Providence for Saturdays in July, except for Independence Weekend. And we're really looking forward to having this back in person charity. So excited about this.
Oh, yes. We are so excited about it, too.
All right. So I look forward to seeing you on.
Great.
And
come on out, have a good time, get some good drinks, some really good down home Bahamian food, and enjoy all of the cultural activities.
It's going to be great. Thank you so much, Charity Armbruster, for talking with us this morning.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, a lot more in terms of culture and tourism. You definitely don't want to miss it. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. Your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
At Western Union, we have different sending options for you to use the one that fits you best. You can send money directly to bank accounts around the world, or for cash pickup by visiting our agent locations. Or you can also start your money transfer in our app and then pay cash in store. Look for an agent location near you, or download our app and send money to your loved ones abroad.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because it's CFAL, your interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians. The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Let's go through the Bahamas, have fun with me. Lots to do and lots to see. Many islands to pick and choose. You may fly or take a cruise. I'll take you to the capital. Watch a Junkanoo festival. Then to Gat Island, eat flour cake. Watch quadrille dancing to the rake and scrape. Ooh. My Bahamas, the place to be. Through the islands and the keys. Soothing Bahamian breeze. My Bahamas, the place to be. From Long Island to the Exuma Keys. Wildlife in Inagua, you will see. Mayaguana Acklins, San Salvador. The Berry Islands, you will adore. Harbor Island, Eleuthera, they'll treat you kind. Spanish Wells, so quaint and fine. Andros is known for lots of crabs. Bahamians call it the Big Yard.
We are back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with you, and we've met them before, Sankofa Flamingo Foundation, and they told us their amazing story and what they're trying to do in terms of culture and getting Bahamians to experience the roots of Junkanoo and our Bahamian culture going back to Africa. And they're back from another pilgrimage. This one getting a lot of attention. I'm in the presence of true royalty this morning, and we're very pleased to have back with us Christopher Davis, and on Zoom we've got Angelique McKay and Michael Pateman. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Great to have you with us. Good morning.
Thank you so much for having us. Good morning.
Yes, thank you, Dwight. Great to be here again.
All right. So now, Angelique, you're just back like yesterday. Is that right? Angelique there? You might be muted. Angelique, you're muted.
Yes. Sorry about that. Got in yesterday afternoon, got some crack conch, went in the tub, and went to sleep.
Okay. And Christopher, you're saying you got back on Friday.
Yeah, I arrived back on Friday. It was a pretty solid sized contingency that was going. Most of the members and directors of Sankofa Flamingo was there, as well as some important delegates representing the Bahamas,
Yes,
to kind of see this proof of what all this research and work that we've been doing as well. And of course, my wife, Tamara, she came back last week, Monday.
Okay.
And so did Mike as well.
Last week, Michael? Yeah. Okay. All right. So for those who might have missed our first interview a few weeks back, tell us about Sankofa Flamingo and what you're doing and what this latest trip to Ghana, what you achieved and are hoping to accomplish.
Well, essentially, it just began with me doing research on Bahamian individuals, helping them with their family as well, and also beginning work on a unapologetically Afrocentric Bahamian history book. As I began to do more and more research, I became more attached to this origins of John Canoe story and who this man John Canoe really was. And then I realized that I had stumbled upon something quite profound that connects numerous countries crossing international and language boundaries. And this is what led me to Ghana, specifically to Princess Town, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place with just a few thousand people there today. But this was the stronghold of the man that the British called John Canoe, that we know as John Canoe. And as this project began to grow and blossom into something much greater than myself, of course, I founded it with my wife, and then I had to bring in Robin Lightbourne as well. And then, of course, Queen Mother now, Angelique McKay, and Asafo, I should say, Michael Pateman as well, and we are all have had life-changing experiences, I think, since we've all committed to this goal of unearthing, our African heritage here in the Bahamas.
All right. So you're off here with me, but how it's been such an unbelievably moving experience. And we saw some posts about, and we talked about it the last time you were here too, but what happened? You were given some very important role.
Yeah, well, essentially what happened was I find it very difficult to talk about because it's something that is so unbelievable for me. If someone said a year ago this would have happened, that I would have been a legitimate African general and king among such a great people with a long and consistent history of anti-slavery, and one that has so much intrinsic value to us in the Bahamas, John Canoe. It's still unbelievable for me. But my official title is Nana Safahini John Kwao II. John Kwao being the traditional Ahanta name for the man that we know as John Canoe, who was an African general, the proverbial minister of defense, not only for the Ahanta people, but even the great and better known Ashanti Empire out of Kwadaso and Kumasi. And so its listeners going to Africa and receiving titles, much of which is well-deserved because of the assistance they provide and stuff. But when I made this connection to John Kwao, who was a national hero among the Ahanta and also a hero among the Ashanti and even the Fante people, this is when we realized we hit onto something huge. And it was quite profound and eye-opening. And as we delve more into the history of the Ahanta people, not only does it, of course, connect closely to the Bahamas, but it also even challenges the entire narrative and rhetoric that we get surrounding African history and the transatlantic slave trade on the whole. And also even Bahamian history, because, of course, we've also been led to believe that we are docile, we were more passive. And essentially, this research unequivocally proves that not only were we not docile and passive, we are directly descended from some of the greatest warriors in the history of West Africa.
So you said it, Westerners sometimes are appointed. So why you, and what does it mean going forward?
Well, it's, the position that I got was essentially them bringing back the exact throne of the man that we know as John Canoe and making me John Canoe II. The title is Safahini, which essentially means the king of the warriors. In modern times, that role has very much evolved into being someone that rallies the youth, This is things that we have already been doing, even though we don't heavily publicize it, but we've already made massive impacts, particularly in and around Princestown, on their cultural groups, on the amount of visitors that pass through. We were received at first, of course, by Abu Sanin, family head, chief of a family, Augustine Yaw, who is like my Ghanaian father, and my brother, Alex Kofi, who are also crucial members of Sankofa Flamingo now. And when we arrived there, first the honor was received from Princestown itself. And then the one that I received just now came the Atomfo, the great overlord, the king of all the Ahanta people in the capital known as Buswa. And so technically, I represent the highest military rank among the Ahanta people, and that's inclusive of the 2.5 million or so that lives in the Ahanta West province, as well as the few million or so spread throughout Ghana and throughout the diaspora. Through the research, we also seek, because essentially what it is all stakeholders of Junkanoo throughout the diaspora are essentially giving commemoration to this man. And we've also been able to show, as we research more, especially with the expertise of people like Dr. Michael Pateman being on the team, it's just so precious. And he is just caused this huge research drive. Robin is like a workaholic, and Angelique, like I say, I don't think nobody in the world loved Junkanoo more than her. Yeah. And of course, my wife, who's always been not just behind me, but beside me, and sometimes even in front of me, and just expounding what Sankofa Flamingo does far beyond the research and the cultural initiatives itself. And I encourage him to see the work that we're doing, to take the pilgrimage with us. I don't want to elaborate too much because I want to give Mike and Queen Mother Angelique a chance to express their aspect as well. But mine, of course, deals more so with the history. But Mike is working on a documentary, editing my book that's going to be published quite soon, as well as Queen Mother Angelique with the festival development as well. And then we also have many business initiatives that will provide many opportunities. We also have to commemorate people like Mr. Andrew Wilson, who is the ambassador designate to Ghana, due in large part to the work that we've been doing at Sankofa Flamingo and the work that he has been doing as, in my opinion, the foremost Pan-African in the Bahamas for the past 10 years, So all of these people we have to be grateful for, thankful for, and just extremely moved by the entire experience and the reception that we Bahamians receive. They do actually treat you like royalty.
Wow.
A quote from the First Lady, she said that she felt like Princess Diana. And I was like, more like, or something like that. But I catch your point. Right. Walking through these lands.
And we'll get back to that in a second. Dr. Michael Pateman, let's talk about this, the historical significance of this. The pictures were sent around, and some people sent, someone who didn't realize that you'd been on the show before talking about this, send it to me like, what is this nonsense? Look at this going on here. People are quick to dismiss this when it's not from a European nation, when you get an honor that's not from a European nation, but they think this is, I guess, some play type thing when it's from Africa. But let's talk about that. Why is this significant, and why are we so quick to say this ain't nothing? What's that all about?
Well, I think that's $1 million question there, because this is, as Christopher said, this is so profound. His research has really drawn the origins of the festival we celebrate as Junkanoo and who it's named after. And the honor he's gotten, I think it's bigger than the knighthoods that we tend to get in the Bahamas or anywhere else in the British Empire. But as you said, it's being discredited because it's coming from Africa. We've turned away from our African roots and our African origins. So after the last trip, we were posting a lot about our experiences. And I can see some of the responses of people talking about, oh, that's from Africa. It's evil, it's bad, don't follow that. Wow. And I was just thinking, but you know what? This is the stuff you guys do every day and you don't realize it. Last time we talked about Cersei. Cersei is... They put a Cersei necklace around you as a way to initiate you into the tribe. And Cersei is their most powerful medicinal herb. We use Cersei for everything here. But yet, when people see us with the Cersei necklaces, they act some sort of way. I think it's this whole mentality of how we were trained through slavery of everything African being bad. Although it's the same stuff that we practice every day. It's just our ancestors hid it. And now it's just ingrained as part of our daily lives.
Oh, wow.
And if you've seen interject too, and this is why the book that I'm publishing called Black Rinse, this is exactly some of the mentalities that we have to let go of. These people we have unequivocally proven are family through empirical data, through the transatlantic slave trade, through anthropological data, and it will begin to be proven through archaeological data, through DNA, all of these things, right?
Just look at them and you can see
it's
our
crazy.
family.
Yeah,
I mean,
and they ring
they're our
cowbells
first
like
tribe.
us even, like there's whole cowbell at the base. And it's amazing. We have to really take a step back and put even my Pan-African bias on the side, and let's just look at right and wrong here. It's very amazing what our ancestors have been through. Transatlantic slave trade, the Ma'afa, colonization, even our own version of the truck and credit system that disenfranchised so many of us for so long. Yet, when we view history, we almost innately view the Africans as the evil ones and the Europeans as the good ones. It's absolutely crazy, and we really have to take a step back, who we really are, And I could just imagine some of our ancestors just cringing at us from wherever they may be right now, Yeah.
So again, just so people understand, this honor is based on the research you've already put into it.
Right. As well as the amount of people that I've been bringing back. So every time I go back, I bring more people, all of whom get initiated as hunters as well, and it's something that's just magical. It has nothing to do with your Bahamianness. What they're doing is they are pining and yearning, because these people used to number over 20 million, and because of their fight and their stance against slavery in the transatlantic slave trade, they were absolutely ravaged by it. So these people are yearning for their sons and daughters to come home, of which we are here in the Bahamas, whether you like it or not.
And as you
Christopher, let me interject that. Don't forget about the humanitarian work that you guys have, we should say we have been doing, because this is something that we don't advertise too much, but especially Christopher, Tamara, and Robin have done a lot of humanitarian work, especially in Princestown. And I think that's the main reason why you were first summoned to the King, was based on that work,
right?
Not on the historical work. And this is not work that we are seeking credit for. It's just we're doing it because we should do it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has nothing to do with who your parents are, as has been suggested by some mischief makers in this place.
Well,
Dwight, could I say something on that part, please?
Yes. They didn't find out until last
exactly.
year.
Nobody knew who his parents were. Until
nor do they care, I suspect.
No, they don't really.
Right.
Yeah.
Go on, Angela.
And the work that Christopher has been doing is going to change the narrative globally, not just in the Bahamas and not just in the diaspora, but globally. Because we've been finding information based on his search that takes us all over the colonizers. Right? And that information, Janqua's name is mentioned everywhere. So this is a global initiative. This is a global project. And he would have mentioned, everybody who knows me knows my love and passion for Jankanu. And I would have been given a title as well as Queen Mother Asafa Churiba of Pakasu and the Ahanta people of Western Ghana. And Christopher says his title is King of the Warriors. Mine is Queen of the Warriors. And my role is to stand right next to him, to the left of him, in every single project that he does, and to support him unequivocally with every step that he makes. And we are going to show the world the strength of the Ahanta people. We are going to show people where all of this information from Jankanu comes from. And we're not in a position to say a lot of the things because it's in the book. And we don't want to preempt the book or the documentary that Pateman is working on, but based on that information, and my role in all of this as a Junkanoo Commando and as an executive for Sankofa Flamingo is to initiate the cultural heritage and tourism product to assist the Ahanta region in developing that area.
All right.
And it has nothing to do with who his parents are. His parents have made him the man that he is. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to run away from that, but his work stands alone.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Angelique. I got you blushing a little bit there, Christopher.
Yeah.
Let's take this call, and then we'll get back to that. Good morning, caller. You're on Morning Glen Business. Hi, good morning. You're on the air.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Hi, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Like I said, I don't know, it seems like this has been happening from yesterday. You got a very scratchy phone. Then
Yeah, we're hearing that now.
the phone that just started scratching.
Not sure of us, but we will see what we can do.
Can you hear me clearly?
Not so much. Maybe you can call us back on one of the other lines. Try us on another line. 323-6232. 325-4316, and try those two. All right. But we did see Anne-Marie Davis. What did she get a special honor as well, or what happened there?
Oh yeah, she got several special honors, all sorts of gifts. She got so many gifts. I literally had to buy a bag just to bring back all the gifts that she got, But she was honorary queen mother of Princess Town, particularly as my mother.
Right.
And it's important.
And it's related to you, not related to your father,
right.
Prime Minister Davis, but because of you, she got this.
Right. And it's important to note. So even when I got my first title, my wife was not present because she had to deal with some stuff right here. Mm-hmm. But Angelique was present. You cannot make a chief or a king without a woman. See, the Ahanta people are matrilineal. You see, this is something that will be unfathomable to many of our, let's say, our brothers and comrades here. I think you know where I'm coming from.
Right.
But yeah, they are a matrilineal society. The woman has the political power. Wow. The woman makes that, and we still have a little remnants of it here in the Bahamas, I might say.
A little bit.
Grammy still kind of run things in the family.
Right.
But it's quite interesting. Even when Tamara and I did a ceremonial wedding, and we did some of the invitations, they immediately sent it back. My brother, shout out the Honorable Assemblyman Stephen Kenya Arthur, right there from Boutre. Power man, he's going to be coming to the Bahamas, and I'm sure you all get to meet and know him. He's a great representative of Ahanta culture and the Ahanta people in general. Sorry, lost my train of thought. Mm-hmm. But essentially, as we all came together, let me just divert a bit. As we all came together and we visited this place, and everybody that visits, including the First Lady, we also had Kenneth Wallace Whitfield Jr., he was the officer from Foreign Affairs, and of course the cultural ambassador Jamal Roll, as well as the designated ambassador Andrew Wilson. Everybody that visited the honors received a welcome that I'm sure they never received anywhere. And we even had what they call the Ancos. We call it the Ancos Rush Out here in the Bahamas. And Ancos is that festival and that parade that looks the most like Junkanoo. Mm-hmm. Wow. You understand? So if you see it, and this was how we were being welcomed when we were moving from place to place. These people were, rushing out in front of us. Amazing. And of course, Angelique had to come out and join in whenever she could, But it's just a magical experience, This is not anything that we expect people to come to me and bend the knee and all of that stuff,
right.
Particularly here in the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. However, we do ask for a certain level of respect because we have been being successful in putting the Bahamas on the map for the first time in Africa. And I would also like to jump the gun and say the government support has been minimal. Mm-hmm. Minimal. And there's several reasons for that. Because of my connection, my family connection, I guess. And I guess it would have to come from the people for that to want to be supported the way that I feel that it should be. Something that's partisan. This is something that affects all of us. This puts the Bahamas on the map in the terms of global history. You understand? Because other people are familiar with this man, John Canoe. They practice it in various different ways. We're talking about from Suffolk, Virginia, straight down to St. Augustine, Florida. We're talking about from southern Mexico, straight over to Belize. We're talking about the entire Lesser Antilles. We're talking about Brazil, Suriname, Guyana, crossing language barriers. We're even talking about areas in Cuba, in Puerto Rico.
Jamaica.
Okay? Jamaica, of course, you know. So this is something that's quite profound. And if you love John Canoe, and all of us that have that intrinsic value behind John Canoe, this puts it on a whole nother level, you know, and freedom.
Name off all those countries. That's really powerful.
Exactly.
Right?
And it all connected to us right here in this little Bahamas, who've been keeping it going for all of these centuries. It's something that we can be profoundly proud
and expanding it.
Yes.
And expanding it. Right.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to say, Dwight, as well, the people of the Ahanta region felt so proud that the name of this great warrior has survived all of these years and has evolved into the great festival that it is in the Bahamas, or the great parade that we have. That John Canoe is something that is deeply ingrained in the people of the Bahamas. And when I say emotional, they have been so emotional over all of this. And to know that the stolen children from Africa have started to return home, it's overwhelming and very emotional. That I did not feel like I was at home would be an untruth, because I felt as if I had returned home. I did not feel for 1 minute that I was away in a foreign land.
Wow, that is
right.
Really amazing.
Not 1 minute, not 1 day did I feel that.
My goodness. And we're going to talk more about Bahamians taking advantage of this, being a part of these pilgrimages and the exchange. Africans coming here to experience our culture as well. Let's take this call very quickly, and then we have to take a break. Good morning, caller. Are you there?
Good morning, Dwight. I finally got back. The producer said he found something wrong.
Okay, there we go.
But
You sound much
anyway,
better.
first of all, let me congratulate the gentleman. It was so difficult trying to hear everything that was going on. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And
Appreciate
then
it.
Miss McKay, I think that's Freddie McKay's daughter.
Yes, it is Freddie McKay's daughter, live and in living color.
This Sparky, so, you know, I come from the Valley, and Freddie McKay come from the Saxons up in McCullough Corner, so me and him go back.
He's a Saxon.
Me and him go back all through Batelco. Plus, he had his house right on top of the hill by Pride. He moved out the other day. I saw him not long ago. But you know what is amazing to me, Dwight, and to your guests, that we love politics so much. You let us talk politics on this radio this morning. Everybody flying in here having something to say. But you let us talk about our own culture and our history. You could hardly hear anybody want to get involved. You know, that's amazing. That Miss McKay and the young gentleman, congratulations, sir. The warrior and whatever else have you, whatever went down. But you know what I want to say, Dwight? Let us talk about our history and John Canoe. I'm wondering why. I'm not a book writer, but I wish I could find somebody to help me. Dwight, my mother, I don't know if y'all know, but A.D. Malcolm on Bay Street had a Texaco gas station on Bay Street. His name was A.D. Malcolm. His house used to be right where the Central Bank of the Bahamas is right now. That was his property. Right by where the police station is, down by the old Stop and Shop, was A.D. Malcolm's Texaco gas station. A man who used to go there and serve gas to his own gas station and would take tips whenever anybody tipped him, although he was a millionaire. He used to love John Canoe back in the day before they even outlawed John Canoe. One time the white people outlawed John Canoe.
Yes, they did.
And then some people brought it back. Some black people brought it back. I think some gentleman up on Bay Street or some, on Hawkins used to wait for the Tribune with Leon DePuche, and then they finally got it back. But let me tell you something, and I said this over and over, Dwight. My mother, Gwendolyn Mercedes Joy Nainspin the Fountain, was a lady who used to work with Malcolm gas station as a secretary in the day and the hospital at night. Gus Cooper and those got together, and they asked my brother, they used to call my mother Aunt Granny. They said, Kippy, can you ask Aunt Granny if she could get a sponsorship from Mr. Malcolm? Mr. Malcolm gave my mother, this is what I was told, but I was there in the beginning. He gave my mother, Granny, a box of cowbells, a box of whistles, on a box of cowbells they used to put around the cow's neck back in the day by Claridge Road Farm in Yamacraw. My mother bought 16 pounds, gave it to Gus Cooper, and that was the start of the Valley Boys. Now, you got to say this, we don't know the history, but some of these things, like Wooler parents and them encouraged him to keep in the culture stuff. Percy Wooler Francis, and all of those guys, those senior guys above me from back then. But let me say this, Dwight, I can
really
say
quickly,
this, I ain't getting my mind. You know, to this date, my mother has never been honored for Junkanoo, by the Junkanoo Committee, by the Valley Boys, by nobody, right to this day. And she died at a tender age of 46. And she's never been honored. Have a good
so.
Got to correct that, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right, we're talking with Christopher Davis, Angelique McKay, and Dr. Michael Payton. We're going to be back with more talking about this exchange and the many opportunities that lie ahead. This is Morning Event Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
Girl, you see how Cora eye look funny, all black up yesterday?
But she said she bumped into a wall when she's running after the churn dam.
Yeah, but last Saturday, you see her arm was all black and blue, right?
So what you saying? You think something wrong between her and Jack?
I ain't sure, but you know Jack is a jealous man. I hear him and Cora last Friday. I hear him say he hear Cora have eyes for Junior.
Now you know that ain't true. Cora is a good woman, does mind her business, take care of them churn, and go to church every Sunday. So what you think we should do?
I think we should report Jack, you know. Cora don't say nothing, but silence hides violence, and we don't...
Me? I ain't getting in nobody business, then Jack come after me, and I land up next to Cora?
No, man, we could call a text Crime Stopper. And remember, we can even get some grocery money for our tip.
Remind me again, how does this work?
We can call them in Miami at 328-TIPS or 328-8477. Or when we in the island, call toll-free at 300-TIPS or 300-8477. And if you don't have no minutes, use the Crack Crime Bahamas app, and we could text them, and the messages get on mix up before it leave your phone, so nobody can know what you saying.
So what we waiting on then? Let's go earn some grocery money.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It's time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL. Prime Minister Philip Davis defending the removal of customs duty on pleasure vessels, including yachts, noting that it's all part of a part and parcel of the big picture of growing the country's blue economy. The opposition criticized the government for adjusting the tax to duty-free from 10% and questioned why the move was being done in secret and why the government didn't raise the matter during the recent budget debate in Parliament. Davis affirming that the adjustment was not made in secret, adding that he would investigate why it was omitted during the course of the debate. The government's removal of the duty on pleasure vessels, we're told, will benefit the country greatly as a whole. That's according to President of Harborside Marine, Ian Rademacher. The opposition on Sunday again criticizing this move, but Rademacher's business is one of the largest and few remaining boat retailers on New Providence. He says that while there are often many large luxury boats in the country, hardly any are purchased locally because of the heavy taxes. He said removing the 10% duty would make purchasing a large boat in the country more attractive for high net worth individuals. $850 million in estimated average annual loss from windstorms like hurricanes, and a probable maximum loss of $20.5 billion, according to new findings in a Ministry of Finance and World Bank report. The startling figures were published yesterday in the first annual climate spending report for the Bahamas, which used a climate and disaster budget tagging methodology to track climate change-related spending. It's expected to help the government make informed decisions and prioritize climate and disaster investments. And Canoe is seeing an uptick in merchant users as the adoption of digital payment systems picks up slowly. But the use of the sand dollar through its digital wallet systems has not yet gained real traction. That's according to Canoe Chief Marketing Officer Khalil Brathwaite. Brathwaite, who made the comments following a press event to announce the Canoe Summer Festival, explained that the Central Bank of the Bahamas continues to plan an education campaign to ensure that more and more Bahamians understand what the digital currency is and how to access and use it. Overseas, the head of the European Central Bank saying today that it will move gradually to combat soaring consumer prices with interest rate hikes in July and to keep its options open to stamp out inflation if it surges faster than expected. In a speech opening an ECB forum on central banking in Portugal, Bank President Christine Lagarde, using strong terms as policymakers targeted inflation running at a record 8.1% in the 19 countries using the euro. With new inflation figures due out Friday, Lagarde saying the bank is using the dual approach to be able to respond to economic uncertainty. In your Market Watch recapping trading on the BISX from Monday, your market movers, Commonwealth Bank moving 18,500, up 16 cents to close at 346. Finco moving 100, closing unchanged at $10. Consolidated Water up 3 cents, closing at 285. Emira Incorporated up 8 cents, closing at 1132. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,543.99, up 21.01. That's your Market Watch. And that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. We are back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with my guest, Angelique McKay, Dr. Michael Payton, and in studio, Christopher Davis. And we're going to get to the opportunities that these pilgrimages have been opening our eyes to in just a bit. A couple of messages here. This one just came in. Your guests seem to be conveniently forgetting that Africans sold other Africans to European slave traders.
Wonderful.
My soul is aching because they have no problem allowing the descendants of persons who sold my ancestors benefit from tourist dollars without question. Whoa. Getting deep here. And a response to the inevitable to my supporting former slave owners by traveling to the U.S., for example. My response is that they didn't sell their own.
Okay. All right. So let me just dive right into it.
That's an entire show.
You have to come back for a whole show.
Let me just kill it. First of all, this person has very, very amateur historical outlooks. Notice they say Africans and own people. They have things called slave narratives, first and foremost, of which there are thousands of people that wrote about their lives that were actually captured from Africa and enslaved in the Americas. Not a single one ever said that they was captured by their quote-unquote own people. Mm-hmm. Many of them were actually physically captured by Europeans themselves. Put that on the side. Secondly, we have to listen Africans. So they have a war going on right now between Russia and Ukraine, right? You see, but we acknowledge and respect European diversity. So we will never say, oh, look at these Europeans fighting against each other. But when we're looking at the past, 300 years ago, we could say, look at these Africans fighting other Africans. But see, when we blanket everyone like that, we have to define what's blackness. What is blackness? A social construct, right? because blackness has no biological foundation. What we know is race has no biological foundation. As a matter of fact, Africans are more diverse. So me and you, brother Dwight, being two black Bahamians, have a greater genetic differential, this is proven by science, than you and any other Asian person. So Africans are actually more diverse than Europeans. But of course, we just call them all the same people just because they have the same skin tone. Furthermore, this is the 21st century, man, living in the 21st century, applying notions to people where it simply did not exist. So that would be like me talking about ancient Rome and calling them Italians. It's the same space, but were they Italians? 2,000 years ago in Rome? No, they were a confederacies of different city-states that make up the history of the modern nation of Italy. So that person is just talking out of pure ignorance. You could look at Gorée Island and compare it to Paris, France. Let's look at Nassau, Bahamas. Let's look at the Ahanta region where the British took people directly from here to there, and let's compare it to Liverpool. But albeit his and the self-hate is so entrenched that this is where the first thing that we grasp at as we try to do this. But the history of John Quao and the history of even wider Khan people shows you otherwise. And to make a parallel with World War II and the genocide against Jews in Western Europe, they were in acute survival mode. So even though you had groups like the Judenrat, who were groups of Jews who were subjugated and helping other Jews, we do not blame those groups of people because we understand they were in acute survival mode, right? So we don't say, oh, look at these Europeans killing other Europeans, right? Even though it's in the 20th century when those terms were valid. But we're looking at I could go on and on about.
We're going to have you back. We'll have you back, Michael Payton, as well, when we go deep into this.
That.
Maybe closer to around Emancipation Day or something.
Yeah, it's just the ugliest manifestation of self-hate that we all suffer from, unfortunately.
All right, I want you to quickly address this. We know there were questions people were asking about government funds being used to finance this latest trip. What is the reality there?
That is no reality. I've been to Ghana 7 times in less than a year, and the government support has been minuscule, barely beyond any paraphernalia or anything like that. Simply because, of course, of my family connection, number one. Number two, because, I have to be frank, and I think it's being proven right now, Bahamians do not care about their heritage and their culture for whatever reason. And we would find any excuse,
especially
talk all about how the Strachan is a Scottish name, and you might even find some Bahamians wearing kilts.
Yeah, you won't be surprised.
You know what I mean? I mean, we got to have, again, we have to take care of our ancestors. The level of self-hate is absolutely sickening. It is. How can you hate yourself so much? And for those who don't think they're Africans, I'll just leave you with one simple question. If you take 2 horses and you put them in a dog kennel, and those 2 horses have babies, are those 2 horses babies puppies? No, right? They still calves, right? They still baby horses, right? Okay. So we have to get out of this self-hate. It's amazing to me that we see the suffering and all we think is anger and vitriol towards our own people. And the Ahanta people represent a history and a culture of anti-slavery. So all of that don't apply to us in the Bahamas, and we supposed to hold our chin up high and say that. You understand?
So this trip, you all paid your way.
Yeah, we paid our way.
Yes.
We
paid our own way.
We paid our way, and it's quite, and you could hear the frustration in my voice, right? Because this is something, in my opinion, that the government should support, regardless of who my family is. And I'll confidently say that no one has been taking the risks that I've taken on this level of this research initiative in tracing the heritage of our most important cultural expression. And so our government support has been minimal. On the last trip, it's obvious to see who the government supported. Ghana is extremely affordable, and I will challenge anybody to take our little 8,000 budget that the government put up and compare it with any other trip. As a matter of fact, you compare it with any sitting ambassador and their monthly expenses, and compare it with this tiny, minuscule investment in our heritage and culture. The majority, 95%,
I'd like to say as well, not only did we pay for our tickets to get there, we also paid for our on-the-ground participation, because we don't want it to be misunderstood that we paid a portion and somebody else paid a portion. We paid for our accommodations and ground transportation as well during our time in Ghana.
Plane tickets, the whole nine.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, Sankofa
And this
Flamingo,
is how
we
much
do
we
it.
believe in in the works that we're doing. You know, I'm not new to putting my hand in my pocket for what we do with the Junkanoo Commandos, and this is no different. This is no different.
All right. So what's next? When are you going back? When can people go back with you? When can we expect people from Ghana to come here? What are we looking like over the next few months?
Well, we're trying to get some of our brothers and sisters from the Hanta region and other parts of Ghana, as a matter of fact, over here as soon as possible. If Robin was here, he would elaborate a lot more on the cultural exchange initiatives. One of the things that we don't know about Ghana is the true fashion capital of the world.
Fashion.
Yeah. My wife has really been kind of trying to infuse that with Bahamian culture. You could see the threads I have on now, very sleek, very different. It's just too many things to name. Crafts, and it goes far beyond culture. Even in the Hanta region, once Bahamians get on board, because we can't do it unless Bahamians get on board, this could be profound opportunities for all Bahamians in reconnecting with our brothers and sisters in the Hanta region. And through our newfound political positions, we will be able to facilitate that.
Yeah.
And so as well as the heritage people will get by coming on the pilgrimage in October, they will also have opportunities just by the people that they meet. And this is something that has been happening. So if you're interested in investing in Africa, having your own business, or even in humanitarian work, or even just visiting from time to time, or you just love Junkanoo, you can come for all of those reasons.
Is there a deadline to be a part of the pilgrimage in October?
Queen Mother.
Angelique?
Well, I'm working. We'll have the figures and everything out July 1. We already have a list of persons. We're looking at a maximum amount of 35 persons on this first pilgrimage because we want to keep our numbers small so we can get accurate feedback from everyone. And included in that 35 is going to be 15 Junkanoo Commandos that are going so that they could get an opportunity to perform with the uncles down in the Hanta region.
Amazing.
So we will follow Commando's page and Sankofa Flamingo's page, and we will have information there because we actually have some spots available. But July 1 is the kickoff point to let people know the costs and everything associated with that to see if they're able to be a part of this pilgrimage for October.
Okay.
That is going to be amazing.
Yeah, it sounds
amazing.
like it. Definitely. Thank you all so much. I know you're going to keep us posted over the next few weeks about this, but Angelique McKay, Michael Pateman, and Christopher Davis, congratulations to you all again. And this is pretty impressive, and we salute you all.
Thank you. Anyone interested in supporting?
Thank you for having us.
Hit us up, Sankofa Flamingo on Facebook. Sankofa Flamingo or John Canoe II.
All right. I'll post a link on Morning Blend's page as well. All right. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
Wake up.